Hey, Roger Federer. The first thing I'm going to talk about is Australian Open 2009. Did you just stop listening to me because I said that? Australian Open 2009. I only want to take one real thing from there. At the end of the match, at the ceremony, Nadal said something really important to you. He said something along the lines like, "You must remember that you are always a champion. You're a great champion, you know?" And I just want to ask you, like, did you take that in? Do you hear that? Because I feel like not only is a lot of the tennis world not hearing that, but I also wonder sometimes as a reflection of what the tennis world's short-sightedness is and their inability to, a lot of them to even really look at what's happening with you. Does that affect you in some way? And I feel like the fact that you came into tennis and took it into an entirely different and higher realm, and you brought tennis, you oohed and you awed people, and you introduced sort of new shots. I think shots that some people describe as they thought were impossible to make, that you created those shots. So you oohed and awed people, and you brought in these whole new sets of different possibilities. And I think a word probably is good, like paradigm. It's almost like you introduced a new like paradigm to the whole tennis situation. So I feel like I'm not sure if you really realize that because you did that. It reminds me, or let me just finish this sentence and stay focused. Because you did that, it set such an unprecedented high expectation for you. It moved you almost into the realm of where people were kind of thinking of you as sort of godlike and, just inhuman, like not inhuman, but not human. And there are times when you were having a rough day, and I know a lot of us around the world watching matches would hear the commentators say, "Oh, see, Roger Federer is showing that he's human. He's having a bad day today. He's not doing too well in a match. He is showing that he's actually human." So you actually introduce this. You so strongly introduce all of these new capabilities and possibilities into tennis that I don't really know that because you are in it. I don't know, like, I feel like I get an advantage because I'm an outsider, but I can imagine just being inside of that you almost have a view that you cannot see, and that I feel like as an outsider, to that situation, that I could kind of see. And it reminds me of this poem, If, and I believe that at Wimbledon there's a quote of the actual poem, If, and it is awesome. It's an awesome, awesome, awesome thing to remember. It's like, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two imposters just the same, if you can do that, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools. Okay, so I feel like you lifted tennis into such an unbelievably high realm, and people put you into a state, a godlike kind of state, an inhuman kind of state. And what happened is you opened an entire door of possibilities for other players, and you also set a standard where other players would have to reach that level in order to be able to compete. And so now it just seems like, since a lot of people you've provided all this steam and fuel in this vast, massive area for people to compete. It seems like people, it seems like the whole tennis world is looking at you to do this godlike thing, and whenever you don't do something that's sort of godlike or Hercules-like, whatever you want to call it, that they feel like you are losing it. You should even retire. And it's just, you know what? It just really goes to show you that people base their thoughts not on any critical sense of thinking, like actually looking at the facts. What they do is base their thoughts on how they are moved in their body. I'm sorry, how they're moved emotionally, and all of those years that you've moved people emotionally, you oohed and ahhed and awed them, you know, people just go on how they feel after your matches nowadays. Because I feel like, there's one article, there's one blog or whatever, sports blog, that just seems so just ridiculous about how they want to basically, they're just basically doing all but asking you to retire. And I'm just like, first of all, Roger Federer, you have taken this year alone since January, Dubai, Rotterdam, Indian Wells, Madrid, Dubai, Rotterdam, Indian Wells, and Madrid. And in Indian Wells, you actually knocked out Rafael Nadal. Dubai, who did you knock out? Was it Murray? And I'm sorry, also Indian Wells, the final was John Isner. So, I mean, what is that even saying for Rafa, that he couldn't even make it to the finals? Or what is it saying for Djokovic, that he couldn't even make it to the finals? Like, should everyone who is not in the top two retire from tennis? It's just ridiculous. So it's like people are not recognizing the fact that you've won 4 titles. But I think what I want to call to you now is, like, Roger Federer, it's time to maybe get back to basics. Like, I wouldn't be a fan if I didn't sit here and I wouldn't be keeping it real with you if I didn't sit here and sort of challenge you on saying I give myself the 3rd space after Nadal and Djokovic. Like, I understand where you're coming from on that, but I think you give yourself better chances, and I don't ever think you should ever concede for anyone just for the sake of, and this is my own assumption, just maybe even, well, whatever. I just don't think you should concede ever, because once you start conceding mentally, forget it, And it's fine and all with Rafa being, the favorite and all that. Being a favorite doesn't mean you're going to win. And that maybe I'm sure that's what you're thinking. I'm hoping it. But if you are not, I'm just trying to tell you, again, take that line from if you can meet with triumph and disaster, and treat those 2 imposters just the same, Roger. Because the triumphs have been kind of an imposter, and they're showing as an imposter now. Like, people are expecting you to be inhuman. And you're holding a number 3 title. Ooh, I said number 1. It's a good sign. But you're holding a number 3 title consistently, and you're taking titles. You took the, most notably for me too, was ATP World Tour Finals 2010, 2011. Like, you did a good start. You've been in semifinals. You are still very much so doing it. And I don't even want to say still. You are doing it. So I just want to say, back to basics, like, just like maybe that Roger Federer, 13 years old, when nobody else in the world was there to support a Roger Federer. I wasn't around. None of your fans, no one knew who Roger Federer was, but it was just this pure boy, a 13-year-old boy sitting on a train going to another part of Switzerland and learning a foreign language at that, and being isolated from his family. There was that inner drive inside, and I feel like there's just way too many, maybe too much of the media in your head, too much of Rafa in the head, and I'll explain that later. But it's just back to basics. Like, can I challenge you, like, to go within, like, seriously, and just walk that path again, like, draw on that 13-year-old boy, where it was just tennis was for the love of it, and knowing that wanting to be the best is okay, and winning over and over again too is just something that's going to have to be okay, and that's another thing, like, with a lot of the media, why you can't take too much stock in them as well, because people don't even excel that much in their own lives, and they don't really a lot of times like to see people excel and win and be the best, because they haven't they haven't given themselves permission to unlock that same greatness inside of themselves. And I could sit here and say, there's times I'm not showing up for myself too, but that I've made these videos for you, there's times where I'm not showing up. There might be like a little times where sometimes where I'm not showing up, and I'll remember something that I told you in the video, and it's like, if I'm gonna say something and cheer you on in the video, then I gotta show up in that area too. And it's been like a major help in my life, like some of the things that I've said in this video, like as far as me keeping myself accountable to not letting myself off the hook. And so I want to let you know too, like, where are you letting yourself off the hook, Roger Federer? Like, and are you recognizing the fact that, unforced errors, like, you are your biggest enemy, not Rafa, not Djokovic. And with most recently the unforced errors at Rome, I saw the highlights of that match, and I thought you looked fantastic, actually. I'll put the link up to that the highlights or whatever. It's like 6 minutes long, so might be a nice thing for you to take a look at. But, I thought you were absolutely fantastic. Obviously, well, I can't say absolutely fantastic. I know people are probably like, well, how could you say that if he had 42 errors? Look, I'm just saying that, you know what? You look good. You're 30 years old. And by the way, I'm older than 30. So, I totally support you in this. But, for someone who's supposed to be 30 years old, you are looking great, you are looking fit, you are taking titles. Like, are you remembering that? Like, is that sinking in your own brain, or has, like, the media just sort of pushed you out of your own connection with yourself, like knowing the truth of what you're doing and really feeling that effect? Because I feel like, too, if, again, if I didn't sit here and keep it real with you, I might as well not be making these videos, and I might as well not call myself a Roger Federer fan. So I feel like you haven't been, and this is not an attack, this is just a calling to requesting, just to see you, like, really step into the potential that I know that you have and more, within reason, within reasonable expectation. So, it's like, first of all, in Wimbledon 2008, in the Australian Open 2009, in the Australian Open semifinal 2011, like, you stepped onto those courts and you weren't even 100% there. I mean, these matches against Nadal, you actually could have taken, but I really feel like you were your own worst enemy, and I'm just here to say, like, how can you be your own best friend, Roger Federer? Like, by going back to basics, by tapping into that 13-year-old boy who just was hearing himself, you know what I mean, where it's just pure, it's for the love of it, and, it's you, it's not, it's not the media, it's not, even a fan video or whatever, it's not that noise, but where can you get back to that purity of just really hearing yourself? Because being a champion, and is walking that road alone sometimes. Is really like being the only one tooting your own horn and the only one believing in your own voice. And if you can't, you gotta believe in you, and when I hear you say, I give myself the third chance, it just kind of like, what? I don't care if it's true. What? I mean, that is not true, You have just as good of a chance as Djokovic and Nadal. And notice what comes up when I say that. You had just as good a chance to take Roland Garros as Nadal. That's right, I said it, and with some attitude. You have just as good a chance to take it as much as Nadal, as much as Djokovic. Listen, you've beaten these guys, But every time, I will say, like, it's all about how you're showing up for yourself. It's not about you being 30 years old. It's not about you being fit. You've shown us. And even though you've shown us, people are too stupid to see how great you are, and they feel like you're, like, losing it. But you're not. Like, if you were losing it, you'd be losing your ranking. You'd be 232 in the world. You'd be, get knocked out in the first, in the first rounds. And that's why I feel like it's getting frustrating and disrespectful to the point where people, to you, and where people are just being completely ridiculous. It's like you're making it to the semifinals. Okay, fine. You made it to the quarterfinals. What was that? 2010. It was, had a bit of a rough year, but you've come back strong. You know what I mean? So how can you just embrace that and let the media do whatever they need to do, but how can you remember that, again, your winning and what you have done in tennis is now serving as an imposter. You've done some stuff that's considered to be inhuman, and now people are expecting you to always be, superhuman. I keep saying inhuman. I mean to say superhuman. And that's where a lot of I don't know about Roger Federer now. Like, how could you not know about Roger Federer? He just took Madrid. I mean, what? I mean, we could say Nadal left that tournament early. So did Djokovic. Are we gonna ask them to retire? Murray. I mean, Murray's at number 4 in the world. Are we gonna ask him to retire? So anyway, no, we're off on a tangent. But how can you hear yourself? And when you are on the court in a Grand Slam against Djokovic, against Nadal, where do you turn off? Like, I want you, as a fan, I want to challenge you, like, be conscious of that as it's going on. Like, how are you stepping on the court? Because a lot of times during the Grand Slams, you step on the court and it's like a shadow over you. And anyone who has seen you play, you don't have to know you personally to know, like, oh, it looks like something's going on. You know what I mean? Like, and that's how it was at Wimbledon 2008. Like, you stepped on that court and something was over you. And in the Australian Open 2009, it was the same thing. Both all against Rafa, and just remember, like, how Rafa is processing his wins and losses as well. And he said, like, you got to remember that you're a champion. And what's interesting, though, about Rafa and is that he doesn't really ever get down. Lately, I feel like the media has made this whole thing between you two something that's just not fun. Because it got to the point where you guys were not even really smiling when you won a Grand Slam, and it was just kind of like the whole energy was taken out of it, I feel. But there's, as far as Rafa's concerned, like, he may make an exit or something like that, but he always leaves it out on the court. He always gives himself the chance and the courtesy to leave it out on the court. And he's also a bit of a selfish person, too, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean selfish as in more in self-full, and when you look at his personality a little bit, as far as thinking about him being influenced by other people or the media, that if he's going to sit there and pull his shorts out of the crack of his butt, I'm sorry to say it, like, all the time, like, that's someone who does not care how other people think. So when you think about Rafa's mental frame of mind, you have to think that he's just built that way, that it's not an advantage or something that he's doing better over you. Like, that's not something to be confused, like, with, the fact that Rafa comes out and works really hard on the court. And I also imagine, like, how much is it for you that you have to be across from somebody who's like, like, I think I would psych me out a little bit. I mean, both Rafa and Djokovic, like, for you to, like, stay through that, keep your mental frame going, like, I give you kudos to you, I give kudos to you, like, for being mentally strong about that. But, again, how can you give yourself the chance while you're on court to just say, you know what, I won that point, and I'm doing okay. But I have to say, Roger, when I've seen you at again, Wimbledon 2008, Australian Open 2009, the Australian Open semifinals of 2011, you were winning points and you looked like so bothered. Like, you weren't in the game. You weren't even giving your own self a chance. Like, you were actually winning. You actually took the first set. And it was just like you were in your own mind. You could just see it on your face. Like, you were in your own mind, like almost like you had concluded that you weren't going to win the match and nothing that you did was going to be good. And all I'm saying is, as a fan, I wouldn't be a freaking fan if I didn't keep it real with you and make these videos. I might as well not make them if I'm not going to be real with you, and just tell you, like, I challenge you when you're on the court, whether it's against Djokovic or Nadal, that you are keeping it 100% real with yourself, and that you are really noticing what's real. Like, hey, I just won this set. Like, I'm very much in this, you know? And hey, you know what? Let me just, you know, or if they're a set above you, or if they're leading the match at the time, just stay in it. You know what I mean? Like, I just challenge you, like, just keep staying in it. Like, don't check out, because you do kind of, I don't want to say, I don't know, that your way of checking out is, you know, it just seems like you're in your own mind, and you like kind of a little bit angry over something, and like you're not even, your focus is not even on it, because even when you're like winning, you're like still angry, and that's just the look on your face, you know. And I totally don't know you or anything like that, and I don't know what's going on in your head, but this is just my assumption. And so yeah, I just want to get that in there and just say, look, you know, all I need you to do is go back to basics. All I need you to do, listen to me. All I feel like I want to convey to you is that you know, just go back to basics, to hear your own voice, to realize, again, read that If poem, because it's awesome, you know. Keep your head about you, you know, when all are losing theirs and blaming it on you. And if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting you, if you can wait and not be tired, you know what I mean? So, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor talk too wise. I don't know about looking too good, but I'm getting tired of people feeling in this world that they cannot step into their true greatness because it's going to hurt other people's feelings. And that's all I'm asking. Like, I feel like on some level that you've checked out, because the feedback you get probably from some reporters, I mean, and the only reason why I'm saying this is because I feel the tone of the reports through the internet, so I can imagine what kind of questions they're asking you. Do you really think you can do it? Like, I mean, you're just winning again. Like, how are we going to make tennis interesting? You know, like, I could just imagine, like, the way that people ask you questions. And you know what? I'm really kind of sick and tired of people being in this world and not being able to step into their greatness and be in their greatness, you know. And I just feel like you're totally there. You're capable, more than capable, of beating Djokovic, of beating Nadal. I feel like, you know, you check out because maybe you don't want to deal, you know, some part of you does not want to deal with the media noise and all of that, you know. And all I say is, like, for that is tap into, you know, a little bit of Rafa's energy there. You know, Rafa doesn't, it's not to say like, oh, he's better than you. I'm just saying, like, what's good is what's good, and take what's good and what works. And you see, nothing ever really gets Rafa down. I've seen him a little angry, but it's very rare. And you too also, like, I've never really seen you angry, so I don't want you to think I'm saying that. But I'm just saying, like, he doesn't allow the media to create something ridiculous, you know, like try to create him into this super god. He always says, listen, I'm going to do my best. I'm going to try my best. I'm going to stay focused. Those are things that he promises himself. And then whatever happens is what happens. And you know, with Rafa, he leaves it all out on the court. So that's what I'm saying to you, Roger. Like, it's just a ball. It doesn't, you know, it's just a ball coming toward. It doesn't matter if it's Rafa. It doesn't matter what Rafa has done in the past. It doesn't matter what Djokovic has done in the past. And it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. It's all about you. Are you being your best friend on the court? Are you going back to basics like that 13-year-old Roger Federer, who has so much drive and was so responsible for building the Roger Federer who is here today? And you know, like, do you hear yourself when you are winning, when you're actually winning in a match? Like, and where do you start checking out? And forgive yourself. Like, if you're on the court and you check out for a minute, you know, because you have been checking out. And like I said, if you know, I'm like probably like such a fan, but again, I wouldn't be keeping it real if I didn't say this to you. Like, you know, sort of check out, you know what I mean, a little bit. And there are a couple people who felt like in Rome, like, you didn't feel really enthusiastic, you know, and I realized you were tired and everything. And so I don't want to make everything seem like really critical or anything like that, but just notice where you're checking out. And if you can keep those promises, similar to what sort of like an approach that Rafa does, and it's not to say, oh, do what Rafa does. It's not that at all I'm saying is the system of just promising yourself that at every point you're going to play it, and that you know, when you win a point, you're recognizing that you're winning. Like, when you're in a slam, I feel like your mental frame is just a little bit different lately over the last 2 years. So, you know, no, it's okay to win. Give yourself permission to win and believe it, like, when it's happening. When you're leading, you know, I don't want to see your face like you're actually leading, you know? And I know I can never, ever really talk or walk in your shoes and what you deal with on having your life, on your tennis life and your emotional life in sports or whatever, out on a platform and having people judge you and judge you wrong, you know, and be so stupid in doing so, you know. Oh, Federer's this and Federer's that. Like, are you kidding me? You've been consistent at number 3. You've taken 4 titles this year that I personally know of. You know, you finished in the semifinals. You know, you're going deep into tournaments. You know what? It is all, like I said in my last video, all about the focus. It is all about what you want too, and if your needs in your family life as well. And this is very respectfully said, and I want to say this, like, you know, very sort of gently, but, you know, if you make sure that your needs in your own family life are taken care of, you know, then you will have less burden on the court. It's not saying that you're not taking care of your needs. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, better said like this: if you get what you need in your family life and figure out how to schedule it so that you get what you need, then there'll be more mental availability on the court. And I definitely don't want to, like, go into your personal life or anything like that. So I really respect the Federer family, and respect you as well in that. So, you know, just hear yourself and just go for it. Like, don't, you know what, if you're playing against Nadal, you're playing against Djokovic, like, I just want you to go for it and notice when you are on the court, when you are checking out, like, when, you know, and don't beat yourself up. Just go, okay, let me go back. And there's a very good poem that floats around the yoga world a lot. It's by a very great poet called Rumi, Begin Again, you know. And you know, if you're on the court and you find yourself checking out or going into the old patterns or whatever, while playing against Rafa, while playing against Joker, just go back to saying, you know, just bring yourself back. Like, bring yourself back into that focus. Like, I'm going to celebrate every point I make. I know I'm in this. I know I can win this. You know, and you can. It's really, you have been your greatest enemy, whether it's with unforced errors or just the mental mindset. You are your greatest enemy. And imagine, like, I know that you said this thing about unforced errors, you can make 60 of them, and I'm sure you know tennis way better than I do, but I'm sure that if you were to even be more available mentally on the court, whether it's family strain or whatever, or just fatigue, or just the media noise and dealing with, oh, I gotta play Djokovic and Rafa again, it's just so disagreeable. Like, it's getting to be not fun because of what the media makes everything into. And I'm not saying that that's 100% true. It's, you know, I don't know that for sure, but it's sort of my impression and feeling. But I'm just saying, you have to, like, just return to yourself. You know, return to yourself right on that court. No, you can do it. Like, if you are winning, Roger Federer, like, I need you to check in. I'm saying I need you once again, but I guess I need you to, because I want to see you win. But yeah, check back in. Like, I can win this. I'm taking this, you know, and don't hear the media, because the numbers don't lie. Being number 3 in the world is not a lie. You know, nobody gets to number 3 in the world. No one gets to number 2 in the world by just twiddling their thumbs. Okay, it's a lot of hard work and a lot of dedication. And if anyone should know, it should be me. No, I'm just kidding. It should be you. But you know that, so like just take that in and just really recenter like the thinking, like, because a lot of the negative press, I'm sure, just really can throw you off. But this is an extremely long video, but I'm really serious. I'm very serious about this, you know. To other people who look at these videos, I do have a really thriving life outside of the videos I make here. But it's one of my favorite things, and if you should know that I feel like there's just so much in the world, whether it's through government politicians or whether it's through certain people in the UN or it's certain corporations, that a lot of people behave badly. And, you know, I love the example that you, Roger Federer, set in the world, whether it's through tennis or through being a humanitarian or through being a family man, a family husband or whatever. You know, I just feel like it's such a healthy dosage to the world that a lot of the world doesn't get to see. And I can't speak for all of the world, but I can speak for my world here in the United States. So, you know, there's a lot of reasons why I guess I want to see you win. And I've seen you pull through some really difficult stuff in the past, and I've just seen people beat up on you, and I don't like it. I hate it, and so, and I mean, I just hate the fact when people do that, period. So, I make these videos, and actually, I wrote probably like 2 pages after Wimbledon 2008, like, I was like writing stuff, and I never made a video, and then 2009 came, and I just felt like all of that pressure from you, pressure on you that was so unfair, that I just, for the first time, like, despite my hating the way that I look on video, like, I just had to make a video for you. And I don't know if you've seen that video, but it's on YouTube channel Old World Girl 1, and it's the very first message for Roger Federer. So I'm gonna keep making these videos. Look at this, 30 minutes talking. I'm gonna go sleep for the rest of the day after this video. No. But listen, good luck. Remember, when you're on the court again, just stay present and remember who you are. Like I know you know who you are, but I'm just saying, like, remember, you're a great champion. You can do this, and you can beat Rafa in the slam, and you can beat Djokovic in the slam, and you've done it with your numbers. Your numbers don't lie. Return to the numbers always. How many titles you've won this year, where you held your ranking, you know. And I don't care if you moved up to number 2 ranking for just a week. You moved up to the number 2 ranking, you know. So the only numbers that aren't lying is your age. That's it. The rest of the numbers are telling the truth. The stats, you know, and the unforced errors, you know. Even if you were to cut down on 10 unforced errors, like, just imagine, like, how many points that will win you, like, you know. And I feel like some of the unforced errors are, again, connected to mental state being fragmented on the court, whether it's from fatigue or personal obligations, or whether it's the whole noise with Federer and Djokovic and where the Federer legacy is going to go, and just maybe even being sick and tired of that pressure, you know. I feel like those things sort of feed errors. You know, that's because there's sort of a certain fragmented focus. So, you know, it could be true, might not be, but I'm just going to end this video. Good luck with everything. Good luck at Roland Garros. And, you know, the time is now, Roger. The time is now to get on that path, to walk that path alone, to be okay being alone on that path. Even though you got me in all my thousands of videos, you can always refer to if you want. Read that If poem, please. Again, I know you've recited it before, but read that If poem. And yeah, you know, this is it. And this is me throwing it all out in the court. It's 34 minutes of talking, man. It's probably going to catch like hell from a lot of these haters on YouTube. But I'm throwing it out there because it's important. The truth is important in tennis, and just the truth, you know, in a world of what you should be. And I don't like people bullying and writing all these articles against Federer when Roger Federer, you're doing an amazing job. Seriously, you're number 3 in the world. Let's talk when you're number 233 in the world. We can talk about you retiring then. But good luck. Keep up the good fight, and just as a fan, if like I ever ask you to promise anything, is that you just stay present for yourself during the court during the match. Like if you find yourself checking out or not recognizing that you're winning points, which I feel has happened, and I might try to post some links actually on that as well. I might try to post some links so that you can kind of see like just sort of how you looked, and I just encourage you to like look at some of these matches that you haven't won. Like really just look at them, because you're gonna I feel like you're gonna be able to take yourself out of whatever emotional thing is buried in it and go, yeah, do I look damn good? I look pretty damn good. So enough with all of this. Thank you guys for listening. This is how much this is important to me. Obviously, I can talk about tennis. Maybe I should do like a Guinness Book of World Records or something like that. I might do that. Anyway, have a good day. Good luck at Roland Garros, and just kick ass. Seriously, all the way through. Don't worry about this favorite thing. Just kick ass. You know what I mean? Do what you do, and just see the ball. Don't see the opponent, and be your own best friend. Enough of being your own enemy. All right? Have a good one. Bye.